Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the rivers sparkled like silver threads and the mountains touched the sky, a great joy filled the land. The king and queen, after years of longing, were blessed with a daughter, a child as fair as dawn, with golden hair that shone like the sun. They named her Aurora, meaning the first light of morning. The kingdom rejoiced. Bells rang in celebration, and a grand feast was prepared. Nobles and commoners alike gathered to see the newborn princess. But the most honoured guests were the 3 good fairies, who had come to bestow their magical blessings upon the child. The first fairy stepped forward, her wand twinkling with light. "I grant her the gift of beauty. She shall grow to be the fairest maiden in all the land." The second fairy smiled and waved her wand. "I grant her the gift of grace. She shall move like a dancer, and kindness shall flow from her heart." Before the third fairy could speak, a chill spread through the air. The candles flickered, and the joyful music stopped. From the shadows, a figure emerged, a tall woman draped in robes as dark as the night. It was Maleficent, the most powerful and feared sorceress in the kingdom. Her voice was like the hiss of a cold wind. "So I was not invited to this grand celebration." She laughed softly, but her eyes burned with fury. "Very well, since you have forgotten me, I too shall give a gift to the child." She raised her hands and the room darkened. "On her 16th birthday, before the sun sets, she shall prick her finger on a spinning wheel, and she shall fall into an eternal sleep, a sleep from which no power shall awaken her." Gasps filled the hall. The queen clutched Aurora, tears in her eyes. The king, his face pale with horror, drew his sword, but Maleficent only laughed and vanished into a cloud of black smoke. The third fairy, who had not yet given her gift, stepped forward. "Fear not, your majesties, though I cannot undo Maleficent's curse, I can soften it." She waved her wand gently over the sleeping baby. "The princess shall not sleep forever. She shall awaken, but only with the kiss of true love." To protect their daughter, the king and queen ordered that all spinning wheels in the kingdom be destroyed. The fairies, knowing that fate could not be escaped, took Aurora away to a secret cottage deep in the forest. There they raised her as a simple village girl, calling her Briar Rose. She grew into a beautiful young woman, kind and gentle, with a voice as sweet as birdsong. One golden afternoon, as she wandered the woods, singing to the trees and the animals, a young prince named Philip heard her voice. Enchanted, he followed the melody until he saw her. The moment their eyes met, something stirred in both their hearts, an unspoken connection, as if destiny had written their story long ago. They spoke, they laughed, and though they did not know each other's names, love blossomed in their hearts. But fate would not wait. On the eve of her 16th birthday, the fairies revealed the truth. She was not a simple village girl, but a princess, destined to return to her kingdom. Heartbroken, she bid farewell to her forest home and the stranger who had captured her heart. Back in the castle, Aurora was dressed in royal garments and crowned with a golden tiara. But sadness lay upon her like a heavy cloak. She longed for the freedom of the woods, for the mysterious young man she had met. That evening, as the sun dipped toward the horizon, an unseen force guided her steps. Like a dream, she wandered the halls, her eyes heavy, her mind clouded. The fairies, distracted for only a moment, turned to find Aurora gone. Up a hidden staircase she climbed, drawn by a whispering voice. And there, in a forgotten tower, stood an old spinning wheel, its sharp spindle gleaming in the dim light. Her fingers reached out. Prick! A single drop of blood fell. Aurora gasped, her vision blurred, and she collapsed onto the cold floor. The curse had been fulfilled. When the fairies found her, they wept. True to Maleficent's spell, Aurora lay in deep, motionless slumber. The entire kingdom, in mourning, was placed under an enchanted sleep, waiting, just as she did, for the day she would wake. Far away, Prince Philip could not forget the girl he had met in the woods. When he learned of the sleeping princess and her tragic fate, something deep within him urged him forward. Guided by love and fate, he rode to the castle, only to find it surrounded by thorns, thick, twisting vines conjured by Maleficent to keep all intruders away. The fairies, seeing his determination, gave him a magical sword and shield. With each swing he cut through the enchanted thorns, pressing on toward the castle. But Maleficent was waiting. With a furious cry, she transformed into a monstrous dragon, her wings blocking out the sky, her breath a storm of fire. Philip, though just a man, fought bravely. The battle raged, his sword striking against her scales, his shield deflecting her flames. At last, with a mighty thrust, he plunged the enchanted sword into the dragon's heart. Maleficent shrieked as darkness consumed her, and she vanished into nothingness. With the sorceress defeated, Philip rushed to the tallest tower, where Aurora lay in eternal sleep. He knelt beside her, his heart pounding. He had loved her from the moment he first saw her, though he had never known her name. Gently he leaned down and pressed a soft kiss upon her lips. At once a golden glow surrounded her. Her eyes fluttered open, her breath deepened, and she gazed up at him with wonder. You came back," he smiled. "I would go anywhere for you." The kingdom awoke, the spell broken. Joy returned, and the bells of celebration rang once more. Aurora and Philip, bound by love and destiny, were wed in a grand ceremony, and their love became the legend of a kingdom that would never forget the power of true love's kiss.